Hello, welcome. I am so excited about this project. I want to start out by saying thank you to Scrappy Shack for sponsoring this video. Y'all, I will have a link to Scrappy Shack down below where you can get these things. I will say, dig in your stash. If you have Tim Holtz Christmas from years past, you could probably sub some of that in. I am using some of the new products. I am using some old products. It's a little mix. I love this little crate that I got. It came from the Target, and it says milk and cookies. It's my sorting tray for Christmas things, and it just makes me happy. So let's talk a little bit about this project and about what I want to do. And then I'm going to talk through some parts. I'm going to speed some parts up. But our base for this project is coming from these dies. Did you guys get these when they first came out? I did too. And then I got them all sorted and organized to look like this. And then I put them up. Yep, you heard me right. Then I put them up. I have since pulled some of the dies out of here, and I have them in a little envelope by my die cutting machine, where I am trying to, if I have scraps, go ahead and immediately cut some of these little bitty tags and things so that I have pieces to play with, because I'm finding out of sight equals out of mind. And it really does with this. So what we're going to start with is, this is from the paper, and I can't remember what he calls it. It's not the wallpaper paper. It's the paper that's double-sided. And I loved this because look, this year in Stampers Anonymous, look, it's the same. Yeah, so I'm super excited. We are going to be stamping with this set. We are going to turn this into a little envelope where you'll be able to see that. This is going to be repeated on, this is the tag piece that goes down inside the envelope. We're going to decorate this up. I'm just super excited about where this project is going to go. So let me clear the deck a little bit so that we've got some room to work. So I pulled out some vintage photo, which is my favorite for distressing edges. I also pulled out a second envelope because that kind of is speaking to me today. But we may make two projects. I don't know. I also pulled out some things that we may use when we get to layering. I pulled out the old remnant rubs. You may have these in your stash. You may not. They, you know, again, we need to use what we have. There is no reason to become hoarders. And y'all, if I am being absolutely honest, I need to practice what I preach, because I am not using it, which is why I have this whole package. So we're pulling that out. I have pulled out this year's sticker book. I really like this sticker book. At the back, we have what looks like the, oh, I can't think of what that thing's called. You know, where you click, 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 and it punched out on the plastic. It has that look to it, but they're in green, and then there's a sheet in red. Then we have some, I'll call them washi tape strips, just because I don't know what else to call them, but they are sticker. You can't see through them, but I think they're fantastic. Then we have bunches and bunches and bunches of the little word clippings. So we're going to dig into some of that. The goal today is to make a cute little tag project and use up some of our supplies. Because if you're like me, you have them and you're not using them, and that is a giant no-no. I am going to be using the Misty to stamp with today because these images are so big. So to prepare my Misty, I need to pull out this, I don't know what you call it, foam sheet. This is what you would use if you're using clear stamps, but since we're not using clear stamps, I am going to remove it. I'm going to make sure that I keep my magnets far apart. This is an extra one. This one did not come with the Misty. The Misty one is up here, but I had an extra one, so there you go. All right, now that is ready to go. So we have that. We have our envelope that is ready, and I need to move my tray out of the way. Like I said, we need to clear the deck. All right. Hopefully we don't drop any of that, because that is the mountain of, oh my goodness. All right, so I am kind of dreaming this project as I go. I really kind of like this idea of this tree maybe stamped in black on this wood. I know we wouldn't get all of it on there, but I do kind of like that. So I am going to pull out archival ink. This is Black Soot Archival. We are going to load this into the Misty. I don't want it, that's not going to be in my way. I don't want it all the way over because I just want my tree here. So I'm going to use my magnets to hold it in place. I am going to line up the bottom of my envelope with this line. There are all kinds of products that you could stick in here to make this Misty have a little bit more of a sticky surface. Magnets work fine for what I want to do. All right, we're going to pull this tree out. I'm going to line him up right there. I need to decide if I want to see the top of the tree, and I'm not sure that I want to. There's my fold. I think I want to line that up just like that. Stick it to the Misty. Grab Black Soot. Now, part of the reason I wanted to do this in the Misty is I'm probably going to need to stamp this more than once. And the Misty will help keep everything nice and still. All right, slide this over. Press. I am using the Pink Fresh stamp press tool. This I really like because it kind of spreads out that pressure and keeps it nice and even. Let's lift this up and see. Ooh, that's pretty. I do think I want, well, I don't know. I kind of wish this had stamped a little clearer down here, but that's where the edge of the paper is. And I'm not 100% sure it's going to. So we're going to leave that like that. I really like that. Look at what happens when it folds. Look, we just get the little nod to there being a tree there. Now, I'm going to wipe this off just to get, oops. This is not my normal cloth. I don't know where my normal cloth is. My husband was laughing at it, so it may have gotten put in the washing machine. All right, I am going to leave this here because I also want to stamp it onto my card. So let's figure out where that's going to be. I think it's that line. And come over one more. Stick this bad boy down. This time, though, I think I want to do it in Forest Moss. So we're going to ink it up. I am using regular Distress ink and not oxide for this. I love oxide, but for this project, I really wanted the ink to kind of soak into the paper and not have that chalky finish. All right, here's this. Oh, I love that. That was the perfect color. So when we put this with this, look. Very, very nice. I am really liking that. All right. Wipe this stamp off again so we can put it up. Doing a quick think of if I want to stamp anything else with that before I put it away. And I don't think I do. Now, one thing I had wondered was if I stamp this and then I came back with a lighter ink, what that might look like over it, like across the whole background. Like if I did, you know what, it's just paper, we're going to try it. I had a what if moment, and so we're going to what if it. All right, so here's my thought. Take this, and we're going to slide it right like that on the edge. Pick this up. I'm going to take Vintage Photo because I want this to be kind of brown. Ink up this stamp. Now, these stamps have never been inked before, which is playing a little dangerously, because when they've never been inked, they may or may not take stamp ink well. So when they produce stamps, they have a little bit of a coating on them, which can cause the ink to ball up. Not a big deal. I kind of want it to be distressed anyway. So, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Look. I like that a lot. All right, let's clean out the Misty, because I have ink everywhere. Wipe off my stamp. I don't get all upset about super clean stamps. I just don't. Can it pull ink off of it? Yes, it can. But I don't tend to find that to be a huge issue. Slide this out of the way. All right, now I'm going to hit this with a little bit of heat just to make sure this is dry. It is very wet today here where I am. We've got lots of fog out. It rained all day yesterday. So there's just a lot of moisture in the air. This is not necessary to heat set these inks. It's just me being super cautious because of the weather. All right, I'm going to grab my little dauber. And now we're going to distress the edges of this. I am working on, this is actually an ivory paper that I had in my stash. You could use the Tim Holtz Distress papers. Any of them would be lovely. The craft paper, which actually looks like this, would be really cool if you were going to do this in oxide ink. I had to think for a minute. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of darken this whole thing up a little bit to where the center is still that really pretty ivory, but the edges are dark and they lighten coming in. Really like that. Now, we're gonna hang on to this because we may decide to add some pieces of this to the envelope. But for now, I'm going to slide it. I keep my stamps in their plastic. I know. I just like the fact that they're covered. I do not have notebooks for them. They sit in containers. But I just like the fact that they're covered. Makes me feel better. All right, we're going to hang on to this because we probably are going to add some things. So here's what we've got so far. We've got our envelope. We've got the tree. Let's close this up. Just going to glue down this outside edge. Fold in. Fold in. And look at that. We have a coin envelope. Love that. Now I'm going to come across the bottom. You could use tear and tape for this. You could use liquid glue. I just use my regular. Yeah. That slides in. If you look, you have a little bit of room for overhang. That's going to be important here in a minute when we start adding to the top of it, because you're going to have a little bit of room for overhang, but not a ton. So let's take a look at our stuff and see what we've got to add to here. So we've kind of got a winter tree theme going on. I love in the paper dolls that a lot of them have kind of outdoor feeling to them, like they're in coats and whatnot. Ugh. This little guy is one of my favorites. He would be neat on there. Or we have a little girl. Okay, I kind of like her hat. What if we put her on the inside and him on the outside because of the way they're facing? I don't know, we've also got this little guy and his dog. I kind of like that. So now it's just playing. And this is where you either like this part or you don't. And I know that there are plenty of people that don't like this part of the kind of fumbling and holding and seeing what you have, and that's fine. I get it. You know what I'm going to do? I also have a lot of my ephemera in a book. Now, this has everything in it. So this is going to have Halloween in here. It has every day in here. But Tifa is the first one that showed this. And I loved it. You know, my Christmas is usually back towards the back. So this, if you're not a dumper, like you don't like things in containers. All right, this starts Christmas. This may be the thing for you. You may really like this. I do kind of like this tree. That goes kind of with our theme. I'm going to pull him out. These are just stuck in with repositionable adhesive. Yeah, that might be fun with that, with everything being black and white out there. I kind of wanted to get into some of this, was where I was headed. Although, I do kind of like, look at this, y'all. I do kind of like that. On here, though, okay, I like this Christmas tree ornaments. Then, what else do we have? This is kind of nice. It says Santa's Workshop. The little ticket. So some of this is really old. Excuse me. And you cannot get it. And I do apologize for that. But I do kind of like some of these little stars. But you need to be using what you have. Remember, I'm preaching to myself here. Okay, I kind of like that. Or like on her hat, or I don't know. It needs to be here. And that's the end of that. So, like I said, I was trying to find some greenery, and I'm not really finding anything that I'm loving. So, I wanted to do a cluster over here, and I really like when my clusters have some greenery in them. Problem is, I'm not getting the scale that I want. I don't know why that little tiny bow fascinates me, but it does. Okay. All right, let's start sticking some things down. I am going to use collage medium for this. And the reason is collage medium will pull back in on itself. So if some squishes out while I'm doing this, it will pull back in on itself as it dries. If you've not ever tried collage medium as your go-to glue, this is your notice you need to. All right, I'm going to cut her little feet off because they're hanging off the edge. There they go. Then I think we want to put this down here, maybe like that. We're going to trim this off too. I have a little bit of room for hangover. And not the kind that you get from a holiday party. So we're going to trim the solid part of that. I may leave that one hanging. All right, I want to find my tiny attacher. All right. So I'm kind of thinking this needs some distressing. And this is exactly why I keep this out while I'm working. We just pick it up, we add a little bit. So I'm kind of liking this stapled right there. So grab the tiny attacher and attach it. All right, there's that. And I kind of like that it's up and flowing too. Then I want to add this star up here to the top of our tree. What I'm not sure of, though, is how far I can leave that hanging out. It's a little bit too far. Angle it, maybe. There we go. That'll close. There's that. I don't know why this little bow is... I'm just loving it. It's tiny and it's cute. And for some reason, I feel like this child would have it. So we're going to put it right here like it's tying up her coat. There's that. Really would love to have some words to go right there. Let's do deck the halls. I think deck the halls will fit. Sorry about the barking. The dogs. There's a lady that walks her dogs, and my dogs tend to really like to bark at them. So that's what's happening there, friends. Always something around here. Always something. Let's slide deck the halls right up here. Find my, here's my rub-on tool. Really love that. Deck the halls. There we go. Deck the halls. Now, set this over for just a second. Let's start doing this. Really like this colorful tree on top of this black and white tree. Again, we're going to hit it with collage medium. Set it right there. Then we've got this cute kid and his dog. I actually think I want to pop this one up on dots. So I'm going to use these from American Crafts. They're called Sticky Thumbs. These are the circle ones. They also come in squares. Right before our Tuesday morning closed here, I found a bunch of these on sale. And so I grabbed them because, well, I am one of those people that puts a ton of sticky dots because I just don't want my things to go flat. So we're going to put this on his little foot. Put this one on his other little foot. So they're lifted up too. Kind of like this special delivery. I wonder though, we'll still see it. We'll put that up there. So here's one of the things I really like about remnant rubs and just rub-ons in general is when they cross over. So like this one crosses over that line where the envelope comes together. You don't get like a missing piece because when you stamp in those kind of areas, sometimes it doesn't stamp fully. And so it, I don't know, it leaves kind of a blank space because of the unevenness of the surface. But with rub-ons, it doesn't do that. There we go. And so this crosses right here. That's what I'm talking about. It goes right across that seam where we had the envelope come together. Alrighty. Now let's get our little friend stuck down. There we go. We're just going to slide him right in here. There he goes. All right, now if you notice, this is already kind of roughed. I'm going to rough that a little bit more. Just so that this envelope looks like it's been open and closed and open and closed and open and closed. There's that. Now, I really like where this is going. And this slides in. Gives me room to leave a note on the inside. I could stick it to a layout or to a card front. And then you've got this adorable little pull-out piece in there. I want to thank you so much for being with me as I built this coin envelope card I want to give a shout out and a thanks again to Melanie from Scrappy Shack for sending me some goodies to play with. I will have links, like I said, to Scrappy Shack down below. Go check them out. Melanie is amazing to work with. True story, when I very first started shopping with her, I had ordered some of the Distress Halloween rub-on crayons. I had accidentally ordered 2 of the same set instead of 1 of each, and I called her and she was able to switch it out. No issues whatsoever. Not even a comment on like, how did you manage to do that, ma'am? Just fixed it for me and got everything shipped to me super fast. And so I am super excited to be able to do some things for the Scrappy Shack. I will have up-close photos of these at the end of this video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. That way YouTube does the heavy lifting and lets you know when new videos have come out. If you like this video, that tells YouTube that it's worth sharing with other people, and I really appreciate that because that's how I find new followers. My friends, until we're together again next time, go make some memories. Bye-bye.